Say it now?
Yeah.
All right. My name is Noel Felix, and this is the 1 Degree Podcast.
Yes, sir.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go.
Live in action.
Yes.
Welcome back, y'all. Got a lot of good stuff to talk about today. Got an amazing guest. Kenny, why don't you go ahead and introduce our guest? Who we got today?
Noel Felix, the one and only. Fresno State, bounced around the G League for a while. Got a little cup of coffee with the Seattle Supersonics. Played in all over the world. China, Taiwan, bunch of other Tel Aviv, bunch of other places.
Friends with Gabe, right?
We'll get in there.
Yeah.
And most recently, he's a 5-time Clovis Rec 30 and over men's league champ.
Wait, were you guys on the same team?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's-
Us three and Gabe.
How are all of you guys on the same team? That's not
I don't
fair.
even know. Like,
Well, I always say the doctor says stay active, man. So I'm just trying to stay active.
So
But
you
sometimes
guys
they
have
talk, and
you guys have two ex-NBA guys, and you got other guys that can hoop pretty good
Yeah.
too, right?
Yeah.
We solid.
we're pretty good.
Hey, turn me up a little bit.
Yeah, and we got Rob solid.
Rob's legit.
Hey, is this
Crawley.
on Woo's team? You?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the man, dude. He's such a good dude.
Yeah,
such a
is.
good dude.
It's fun. It's pretty fun when you don't have to like go out there and be like the biggest guy on the court, because that's normally how I normally am.
You're
Mhm.
yeah.
I'm like the third.
You're the
I'm like the
third
third
biggest
tallest.
guy.
So I'm like, all right.
Yep. That's
So
right.
they put a
right.
little guy on me. I'm like, okay, this is great.
All right, let's get into
I'm not used to this.
the serious question as soon as possible.
Mhm.
Noel, how's Kenny's basketball game?
I love it, man. I mean, I've always been a player that liked to play inside, outside. So I just stay outside and let him do everything inside.
That's
That's
good.
basically it.
Yeah,
that
I
is
mean,
basically
everybody
it, man.
I mean, I've played with Kenny. Like, I know that he's good.
Mhm.
I know he's an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
But you're the third dude that's played in the NBA that has said that he can hoop.
Oh yeah, he can hoop for sure.
Quincy said that he'll
Sure.
play with him all day on
Yeah.
his team because
Yeah.
he knows to pass him the ball.
Well, I mean, he cleans up too, man. He makes life easy for us. So
Yeah.
I love playing with Kenny, and we always win. So that's always good.
Yeah, we don't lose.
That's
We
always
don't
good.
lose.
Winners win.
And it's fun. It's fun when Noel gets a little pissed off too, because these guys out in this
Yeah,
rec
they
league like
forget,
to
man.
talk, and I'm
Yeah.
like, do you guys really know who like you guys are talking to? Like,
Yeah.
we're out here just trying to get a little cardio in.
Yep.
Noel's pulling up from like 8 feet behind the line and just like draining them.
Draining threes too, huh?
just in
Yeah.
dudes' faces
Yeah.
too.
What kind of
it's
player
hilarious.
were you? So
I
you,
was.
so you like to play outside? You said.
No, for me, it was all energy. So like I had, and it was interesting because when I came out, a lot of people would scout and critique my game. A lot of professional, how you would say, the cats that do a lot of the recruiting for teams, and they would say, okay, well, you're a tweener, and then I gained about 20 more pounds, and I went from tweener to versatile because I could play inside and outside, but when they put that label on you, and then at that time the NBA was more traditionally inside outside, and as it changed, now everybody can shoot, everybody can put the ball on the floor. You could be 6'10",
Yeah.
like Brandon Ingram,
Yeah.
a guy that size that can do so many different things offensively, and like it changed, and then the IQ has changed a little bit more because the undersized guys like Draymond Green, who does the things he does on the floor, where he doesn't have to score a lot, but because he has some of the greatest shooters ever, he just has that high IQ. And that's where the game has changed. But for me, it was just always high energy. I can guard every position. At least for like 3 to 4 seconds, I can guard every single position. The point guard to the 5. And then, at the wing,
3
you
to 4
gotta
seconds
Come
is
help.
that's a long time.
Yeah. That was my MO. Like, defensive presence was very important. And I took a lot of pride defensively, too.
Yeah.
Stopping guys scoring and picking up their habits, and when they dribble the ball a certain way, like try to dribble them away from what they like to do. And once I learned how to do that,
So you studied
quick and
the
react.
the game a little bit too.
Yeah, I studied it that way.
Did you feel like you had to, or you just feel like that you liked to? That's kind of just how you played from a youngster, or is that just kind of what you had to do to play at that level?
Well, I was always a reactive player, but I was quick enough to recover. So if you pump faked and I jumped and you didn't shoot in time, I could come back with the second jump and block your shot still. But as a professional, it was I used to watch when I played with Ray Allen in Seattle. I used to watch clips of their best players, only their offensive possessions. And so like we would watch Kobe, and like my offensive possession would be like 3 minutes long, and Kobe's is like 18 minutes straight of just Kobe offensive possessions. And I'm looking at his habits, and our strategy defensively was always to just shade him, not necessarily go one-on-one, but funnel him to an area, and if he gets hot, you can't do nothing about it either way. So,
Yeah.
That's how
He
you
pulled
have
out
to
some
guard
crazy
Kobe.
shots. Have you
Oh,
seen this?
yeah.
Have you seen the stuff now about the LeBron GOAT lovers talking about Jordan and how like it was easier to play back in the game and that like he couldn't go left?
Oh yeah,
Have you been seeing that stuff?
I've seen it before. Yeah.
Well, the thing about Jordan going left is that if you thought about, when he attacked the rim, he attacked from either side. And if you look at his highlights reversing, so one of his pad moves, he'll go attack on the right and finish on the other side of the basket. He can do that either hand.
Yeah.
So that's a false statement. Along with a fadeaway jumper using his shoulders, like he finished with both hands at the rim. He could dunk with both hands at the rim. He was pretty much ambidextrous. So
Yeah.
so was I with my back to the basket for sure.
You just hit him with the hook.
Yeah,
left
I got a
hand, hit him
left
with the
hand
hook
and a right hand. Yeah, I had both, man.
You still hit him with it now too?
Every now and then.
He doesn't go down there that much.
What's it-
He doesn't go down there that much.
What's it like
Yeah.
playing for? Kenny played a different sport, but good player. He's playing. What's it like for you? Do you feel like you're coming down a lot? Are you just kind of out there, just using it as exercise? Do you feel like the competition? Do you feel like it's too easy? Like, what's it like playing for you now in like these rec leagues?
Well, for me, honestly, basketball has always been easy because the competition was embedded in the inner city. So like when I played for there's this movie called End of Watch, and it's with Jake Gyllenhaal and Michael Pena.
Yeah.
So the neighborhood is the first league that funded our PAL league to play. So that police department funded our league. So I played for that basketball league, and we won. We were beating the team by so much points, man. When I was young, the coaches checked on, put on jerseys, and hopped into the game. Was like, nah, we gonna show you how to, and we still beat them by like 40. Yeah. So I learned that competitive, and I was playing against Crips and gangbangers.
Yeah.
They would play, and it would
Where
be
is this
very
at?
physical. This is South Central LA. I played at Central Recreation Center, off of Central and 22nd Street. That's when I learned how to play basketball, and this was in like the early '90s. So the rest was history after that. But the competition, and we had games where gangbangers would get into a fight. If they don't like the 21, get a shootout. Like, so my competitive streak came from there. And then every now and then I pick and choose if I want to start talking. But I enjoy it all because I was bred in that, in the city.
So that's where your skill came from, because you had that competitive nature and that reaction, because you were literally playing on the streets.
Yeah, literally playing street ball. And we had a gym. And then, like I said, that movie depicts our area very well. I've heard, the inner city, and it's a lot of trauma, so I don't go into it too much. But I've seen a lot of crazy stuff, man. But basketball was my outlet. So when I dribbled up and down the street to the gym and play, the coach that taught me the game, his name is Melton Monk. I haven't talked to him in years, but I think he moved to Italy. But he lived in Pomona. So he would let me stay at his house. We would go to the rec center, and I'd be in there from noon to like 5 o'clock every day. And I just play. And then different groups of people would come in. They'll play 21. They'll play full court. And if it got too chippy and people didn't have guns on them, we'd just take our boxing gloves and box until we get tired and we keep playing. And that's what taught me my competitive streak and everything. Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, good times though, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, just having that, like, the drive when you're young, right? Because I always look back on like my career. I'm like, where did I learn it from?
Yeah.
Like where did that come from? Like, where did that, like, I'm going to the gym every day from noon to 5 and just playing or whatever, right? Like, where did that come from? Because I'm trying to, like, we're all raising children.
Yeah.
How do you portray that to them? Like, because they're not going to have to struggle like you struggled, and my kids aren't going to struggle like I had to struggle.
Right.
Which everybody struggles in different ways, but just trying to portray that, like, work ethic, or even not even the work ethic. I don't even know what it is. It's like, where does that come from? Like, where do you like
will to win?
Yeah,
and the
or the competitiveness, right?
Yeah.
Like, how do you get somebody to be competitive with and like you just talking about that, just like flash back to like my life, like when I was like growing up trying to get stronger and being in the weight room and doing all these workouts and stuff like that for for what? I didn't know if I was going to play football ever again. So it's crazy to think about where you come from and all the stuff that you go through to get you to this point. And all of it matters. Like every single rep that you take, every single dribble that you go dribble the ball down the street, every time, all those reps matter because they add up, and it's crazy.
Yeah, man. I had a teammate I'll never forget. His name was Tawitas. He was a little Mexican point guard. He was good. He could shoot it, but every now and then he's like, man, he would go to jail literally because his dad was in jail, his uncle was in jail, his brother was in jail. So he would go do crimes just to go to LA County.
Yeah,
just so he
was he was a great guard, but the economy is just completely different. And like people do things and go through things, man. And basketball was my outlet that way, and his outlet was doing crime to go to jail.
Yeah,
you know, and that's one example of many. But I had so many good teammates that were just more talented than I was, and it was fun because that was our outlet. Like we would just show up and go to every league or every little basketball gym in my area, and we would beat everybody. And it just became a habit, and then the rest was history from there, man.
Yeah, that's cool. So kind of talk about the transition from like high school to getting recruited to Fresno State.
Yeah. So for me, my top 5 schools was Oregon, Oregon State, Cincinnati, Tennessee, and Fresno State. And Fresno State, you know, Coach Tark, he thought highly of me. I was going to say, was it Tark at the time? Yeah, it was Coach Tark. He thought highly of me. His son, Danny Tarkanian, who I was really close with, and John Welch was another coach that I was very impressed with, you know, what Fresno State had to offer. But I also was aware that the year before, we lost a couple top recruits at that time because of the 60 Minutes piece that they put on the basketball team. And so when I was getting recruited, one of the players that I got a chance to come to Fresno State with, his name was Tito Maddox, and he was, I think, committed to UConn at the time. But we communicated and we talked, and we both decided to come to Fresno State. And it was an amazing decision I made because we ended up making the tournament for the first time since the mid-'80s. And we ended up losing in the first round in Wisconsin. But I'll never forget, like, Selection Sunday when we were at the Bulldog Brewery off of Nees and Shaw, I believe. And they gave us Selection Sunday. Our reaction to the paper was incredible. And that team, like, really set the tone for me at a different level. Because I played with a guy named Larry Abney, and he taught me what hard work really looks like, his consistency. And like working on the weight room with him and John Welch above the North Gym, where it looked like a Rocky Balboa montage, where it's just us power cleaning, hitting the weights, and I'm like, okay. And so that helped my confidence, and just being able to come to Fresno State, it ended up being something that I really appreciated because of our success here and what we were able to do in just my first year.
Yeah, I mean, it speaks like everybody that we talk to that it's like from Fresno and has like that kind of, I feel like they all have that kind of chip on their shoulder, right? Where it's kind of got overlooked by the bigger schools, and always had something to prove. Yeah, always kind of gritty and tough and hard nosed. Yeah. And that's kind of the mantra that this whole entire like valley like portrays, right? Yep. And it's really cool to hear a person who plays a not really physical sport, but it is physical in its own way, but to have that same kind of mentality, because I feel like that's what is bred here in the valley.
For sure. I think the mental physicality for me was something that stuck out as a college athlete, because I worked hard, and it was funny because I got the record for the snatch when my junior year, and like after I graduated, there was this dude probably like 250 pounds, 260 pounds, and they told me he picked up the clean. It was like, do it like this, and just picked it up. They're like, that's actually the record right there. So my record was up there for like maybe a year or less than that. But I just think that Fresno State, my experience at the school, the pride that the Valley had for the sports, not just basketball but football as well. Because when I was on campus, David Carr was the quarterback, and Bernard Berrien and Fee Tutu. We had so many amazing athletes, and we supported each other too, and we complimented each other on campus as well. And I think that the Valley really thrived with how successful we were together, because Tark was such a big deal, man, and he had us in the community. And I just felt, to this day, I always say he was my favorite coach ever. because of how he treated his players and how he cared about us and how he loved us. You know?
He was the man. He was such a good coach.
I've heard he was awesome, and even like Antonio Gates. He almost came to Fresno State to play basketball.
Wow, that would be crazy.
Yeah, we were talking to him we played together, and he found out I was from Fresno. He's like, man, I almost came to Fresno. I was at COS. I was down in Visalia, getting ready to enroll. I had to do a semester there, and I would have came to Fresno State. Yeah. But then I went to
Kent?
No, he was up in.
I don't remember.
I
just remember I was a San Diego Charger though, because my wife, she's from San Diego, who also went to Fresno State, played volleyball. But yeah, I became a San Diego Charger fan. It was actually the first football game I ever went to was the Chargers playing the New York Jets when they had Brett Favre.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I went to the Qualcomm Stadium and I got a chance. She took me to the game and I was like,
Qualcomm,
this is pretty sweet.
What a shithole. Kent State. That's what it is.
That's what I said. I said Kent State. You said
man. Good times.
Transferring to Eastern Michigan University too.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Man, he was such a good coach. What was the deal with the towel? Always like biting on the towels and stuff. There's been like multiple stories. Do you know?
Well, I mean, I used to sit there and look at the towel like that. Like, well,
trying to figure it out.
No one's sitting there. I mean, I would like to say now, I guess it's like, how kids have fidgets?
Yeah.
You have fidget spinners and all these things. I guess that was his deal, his fidget, man. But it had its own chair and no one touched it. No one bought it.
Own chair.
It had its own chair, man.
So what happened? Did he bring the chair out, or he bring the the towel out, or was there like a person that was in charge of the towel that always had it there? Or
when I see it, I just know that that's nobody's touching that but Jerry Tarkanian. I knew that. That was it, man.
Damn. He was famous for that too.
Yeah.
He's been on a couple of movies. What was it?
He was in the Blue Chips.
Six Man.
Blue Chips,
Six Man.
Six Man when they were playing in the. They were playing in the national. No, maybe it was like the March Madness thing in the movie, and they're playing him, and he's getting all pissed off, and had him with the towel. I think he threw the towel in the movie.
I mean, he had a character played for him in that Winning Time series too.
Yeah.
Oh, they actually had him.
Yeah. That's pretty sweet.
That's how you know you're big time.
Yeah, for somebody to play you. And then I heard for a long time after he left UNLV, he still had his own parking spot there.
Really? Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he came from UNLV to Fresno State, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel super fortunate for Coach Tark because even when I lived in San Diego before I moved back to the Central Valley, I was able to bump into him in San Diego because that's where he hung out a lot in the summers. And I, still get a chance to see him and spend time with him. And, during my chances when I was coaching, when he coached me, I would talk to him about Long Beach State times. And we'd talk about players that he loved. And he had the best stories, man, because of so much he gained basketball.
What was one of the best stories he told you?
Well, there's some I don't want to share on the air, but just some about his. He had a lot of power, man. I'll say that he had a lot of power.
That is for sure.
Yeah, he had a lot of power, not just in Fresno either.
In Vegas.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm gonna leave that there. But
yes.
So you're pretty much saying that he ran Vegas.
Yeah, he was very transparent and he's a player. So he's a player's coach, man, and I loved him.
So he makes you guys want to play for him.
Oh, 100%. I'd do anything for Coach Tark, man. Anything. And
what about him brings that out? Like what does he do? Like, can you name a couple things that makes you guys love him? Because you're not the first one that I've heard say that.
I'll tell you this. For me, man, one of the things I struggled with when I was younger was confidence. And he always say, I should play you more. I got to play you more. And because he's Jerry Tarkanian, everything he told me, cool. Yeah, so it's like, give him a reason to play you more. He didn't have to say much to me. That was enough for me to be like, man, I'm going to make you want to play me more. It wasn't like, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this. Because I made mistakes. I mean, it's basketball. And I tell my son all the time, one of the greatest lessons I learned in basketball was not to worry about missed shots. You know what I'm saying? And because you work to improve your percentage. You don't work, okay, I'm going to go out here and try to shoot a couple air balls or have the lowest percentage ever. You shoot to score. So I struggled with confidence when I was young. And another one of my struggles were foul trouble too, because like if I get 2 fouls in college, I'm sitting the whole sitting till halftime. So as I got better doing that, and then as I became a pro, I continued to improve that, and the rest was history with being able to squeeze out a 12-year career. But with him and just saying little things, I don't know how he communicated with everybody else, but with me, he said something to me that was enough for me to be a positive for me to continue to want to be better. And then he was always available. Like, I never had to wait to talk to Jerry Tarkanian as my coach, ever. If I needed something, what's going on? What do you? And I'd get it out, and we'd talk, or whatever I needed. So, yeah.
Sounds like the man, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, he was the guy. I miss him.
Did he have that with every player? Like, did he know kind of how to get the most out of every player? Is that just kind of what made him special?
I would say so because I play with a lot of NBA players, NBA talent. Melvin Ely, Courtney Alexander, Terrence Roberson, Larry Adney. All these guys are NBA talented players, especially in that era. And he was available for every single one of them, and he was always there to help them, and he coached us as a whole. So it's like finding a way to control a lot of egos. Of course, we had a lot of egos on our team, and he found a way to get us all focused on one goal.
Yeah, because you guys had dudes on that team.
Yeah,
I remember when I was little watching.
Yeah, we had a squad.
Courtney Alexander was my favorite player because he wore number 32, and his name was Courtney. I was like, a dude named Courtney. I thought it was so cool.
Yeah. I mean,
and you guys were like stacked, like talent-wise.
And also to add to that, like I played with Travis DeMamby, who I'm close with now. And when we came in the game, playing alongside guys like that, there was no dip on our team. We just kept it rolling, and that was something that was very fun to be.
Yeah, that if somebody come out, the next dude.
Yeah, it just keeps going. It just keeps going. High energy
and depth in basketball is huge.
Yeah,
like you can have two good dudes, but if you don't have anybody on the bench, you're just gonna get worn down.
Yeah, Damon Jackson, like so many players that could just flat out play basketball, and it was fun. It was really fun to be a part of.
So, after Fresno State, you played there for 4 years.
All 4 years, yeah.
Where did basketball take you after 4 years at Fresno State?
So when I left, we had this meeting. It was a downer for me my senior year. We had a meeting in a room that I'd never been in at the baseball gym across the street, right across the street from the Bulldogs, right across the street from where the tennis courts used to be outside. And at the time, it was Ray Lopes was our head coach, and he told us that we were going to have a self-imposed sanction on our team. And we ended up winning the league that year, and we also was voted out of the WAC conference tournament. And so my last college game was against Rice, and Rice was on their way up. And so we lost that game. It was an emotional roller coaster for a lot of our seniors. We were senior heavy, Hiram Fuller, myself, Damon Jackson, and Travis DeMamby. We were done after that. And so once I made that decision to, our season was over, I made a decision to just focus on basketball. So I just focused on basketball. And, I picked an agent, a guy out of Arizona by the name of Todd Ely, who's a good friend of mine. I need to give him a call, But, he was a great agent, man. But I made my decision. So I went and trained with the Phoenix Suns. And I worked out against a guy from Greece. They call him Baby Shaq. And I did really well against them, and a lot of people started to see my ability. Because in Fresno, we didn't get as much national attention. And, I did well. And at the time, one of their assistant coaches was Mike D'Antoni. And he said, man, you should go overseas. And, he started to open my mind to, you can go and come back. And I was like, okay, I could probably go and come back. He said it. And
did you think that, if you went over there, then your chances of coming back were pretty slim? Like, if you went over there, you had to make a career over there?
Not really, because I was just open to anything because I believed in my abilities. But I still had so much to learn because I was still young and I was fresh out of college. So I ended up signing my first deal with the Shanghai Sharks in China. And that was a growing process for me, learning how to play. And then I come back. And I played in the minor league for a coach named Larry Kostoviak who played with the Bulls with the Idaho Stampede. And that experience, I got American coaching from an ex-NBA player who taught me the triangle. And now in that process, I'm playing with a guy named Randy Livingston who played with the Houston Rockets when they had Hakeem Olajuwon and those guys. So I started to learn basketball from another level from NBA guys who played with championship caliber basketball teams in the pros. So I took advantage of all that, and then that became the pattern. I'll go to a certain team in Europe, and then whatever happens, then I'll come home and get NBA coaching and then do summer leagues. And then I just got better and better and better, and my route was I had to be dominant against whoever else was there. Because at that time, the older players, like the Michael Jordans of the world, they always had a gripe with players getting everything before they earned it. And so I was in that wave of guys getting a lot based on their potential. And I didn't have that. I wasn't awarded that luxury to get drafted or get paid based on potential. Matter of fact, when I did the workout with the Phoenix Suns, David Griffin was their GM, and he told me they were looking to get me in the bottom of the first round. So they went with Jacques Parkapa, who was their number 1 pick, but I knew they needed a guard, and they went with Leandro Barbosa from Brazil. And so then after that, I just like was more open to seeing the world and get paid to do it. And that's kind of where my overseas route came, but also coming home and being able to get NBA coaching in the minor leagues with pros, you know, in their own, you know, they're all pros. It's just a matter of opportunity, health, luck, all those things have to come together. But, yeah, I had a lot of good relationships with people. And when I did my China experience, it was different. I appreciated it. It was awesome. Then I came home and I did the Idaho Stampede, and that was really good because it helped me go into Summer League with some confidence and, you know, got a chance to just continue to meet NBA guys and play with NBA guys.
So you went from potentially being drafted in the first round to not drafted at all.
Yeah.
Your road could have been completely different.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
But it sounds like from what you're saying that you're super grateful and wouldn't have it any other way because you probably wouldn't have played as long as you did if you would have gotten drafted in the first round. What do you think would have happened if you would have got drafted in the first round and basically got paid based on your potential?
Yeah.
What do you think would have happened with your career?
To me, I don't know. I mean, looking back now, I mean, my chances with the Seattle Supersonics, my agent sat with me when I left Fresno State and said, "You'll get in the NBA in 3 years." And in 3 years, I got called up to the Seattle Supersonics. And they made some trades. They traded, I forgot his name, Reggie Evans. I think he got traded to Denver, and I got called up later on in that month or during that time. And so I felt even thankful that they even chose to call me up when they did, although it was during the season, but I was playing great ball for the Sioux Falls Skyforce. I was super dominant, and Detlef Schrempf came to watch me play, and it was a game we were down by like 15, and I just high energy, doing my thing, inside, outside, keeping everybody involved, and he called me up within like a few weeks after that. So the guy that called me, at the time I was playing for a guy named, what's his name? He's a good coach, and I always talk about him. David, it'll come to me. It'll come to me. But he also was a coach that gave Quincy one of his big contracts too.
Oh.
Yeah. He coached him with so many memories. I'm trying to remember. He coached Quincy when he was with
New Orleans.
New Orleans. I think it was New Orleans.
Yeah.
He coached him there, and he called me like, "Hey man, you getting called up?" It was one of the coolest moments ever, man.
Oh, so he's the one that told you?
He gave me my call. I was playing for him when I got my call up to the NBA, and he's the one that gave Quincy his big deal. So I'm super appreciative of that dude. He was a great coach too.
What's that like when you get called up? Because baseball, it happens all the time. You know, you have the minor leagues, you have the big leagues, and people are getting called up left and right. So you'll be in AAA seeing five.
David Yeager was his name.
David Yeager.
Dave Yeager, yep.
So you'll see like 5 to 10 guys getting called up. In the NBA, how often does that happen? And like, what's that experience like getting called up to the NBA?
10-day contracts.
Yeah, you get two.
Is that it? Is that how it goes?
You get 2 10-day contracts. And, I went to Summer League with Seattle, and I did really well. And they were like, "Don't leave. Don't go overseas. Please stay." And they did right by that. And that's why I chose to stick around a little longer. I started the year in the minor league in the CBA. In that year, I actually got Defensive Player of the Year too. And so that was pretty awesome for me to.
Dude, you're talking about all this defense. You might need to start playing some D on Sunday.
I might.
He don't want to waste his time with that, man. He's out there just staying in shape.
Dude, we just literally just walk up the court, bro.
Could you, playing in these, rec leagues and stuff here around, could you just lock anybody up whenever you want? Like,
it's a mindset.
Would it just be like not even fun to do that, right?
I can. To me, it's a mindset. Like if you get your mind, it's like rebounding. If you get your mind, I'm getting this rebound, you just go get that rebound and you do everything you can to do that. Now, if that's your mindset and you're in conditioning to do it in an 80, 90 possession game, you're going after every single rebound, you're going to get a bunch of them. It's just a mindset thing. And then defensively, it's also pride. Like, you're not scoring on me. And it's that mindset. But when you get to the next level, that's not enough, because the guy that's guarding you, he's mastered his level of skill set to where if he's on,
you can't do anything
about it, especially at that level. I mean, you look at a guy like Kevin Durant, like prime Kevin Durant, if he wants to get buckets, he's going to get buckets. You know what I'm saying? No matter how low I am, no matter how I'm a pest, because you look at a lot of awesome defensive players, they're a little bit crazy, and they go with all the antics. Like, they go with every trick in the book. You know what I'm saying? Because they're trying to find that edge. And that's something that a lot of people don't necessarily think about, but the people that play know. That's why a lot of the guys that fight and go back and forth, they talk about that respect looking back at it, because it's competitive, and that's how you get after it. And that's how you get respected too.
For sure.
Yeah, you know what I'm
Is
saying?
there
for sure.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the mindset of a defensive guy and then an offensive guy, like a scorer, do you think that mindset is different when it comes to like attack and then like stop the attack? Or is it just like you're putting yourself in the proper mindset to get the job done no matter what that job is?
Well, it's really about getting the job done no matter what it is, because that's your team sees that, and then they fight for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, if, for example, like if we're playing a game and like our point guard is out there making this dude zigzag up and down the floor, well, I'm like, well, I'm gonna lock in too then. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They set the tone. You
Energy.
That's the thing about sports. It's like, you can't tell me you're gonna do something to get paid. You got to show me you can do something, then you get paid. You know what I'm saying? You show them by your actions, by your mindset, and then that becomes contagious.
I was just about to say that it's contagious.
Oh yeah, it becomes contagious.
Yeah, like just like baseball, you get a couple hits and they say, you like hit is contagious. It doesn't matter who's on the mound.
Yeah.
If they get into that mindset where they can start hitting, they get a little bit of feel for it.
Yeah.
You give them an inch, they're gonna take all of it. But then at the same time, if that dude's shoving it down your throat and he hasn't given up a hit in 4 innings, you're going up with a mindset like, man, let's just try to put the ball in play. And then now you're you're on the defense instead of being a little bit more laid back, just taking whatever comes to you.
But it's something, we could talk about that stuff all day, but it's something special when you're able to take that and plug it into something else, because that's the formula. Like, you give anything 100%, you're going to get a reward in it, because it's not about what people say. It's just about what you're capable of. And if you focus on that, then certain things go your way, and then all of a sudden you reach certain goals you have for yourself, no matter what it is. It's hard to get kids to see that now, and it's hard to teach that because everybody's worried about other people.
Yeah.
But when you worry about what you can do, it's a different level of focus, because one of my teammates, Earl Watson, UCLA Bruin, man, one of my favorite teammates, great point guard, but he always talks to me about his stories and playing with Gary Payton, and he's like, man, I tie my shoes like they tie their shoes, and I agree with that. I tie my shoes like you tie your shoes. Yeah, that person has the name, and that's the guy, but they're going to have to respect you at some point if you go out there and you go at them. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to get the ball and score over them. You could make them work, because they're getting paid $15 million at that time.
Yeah.
$15 million to shoot it 20 times a game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's their job.
That's their job.
That's what they get paid to do.
Yeah.
Somebody else might get paid to do something different, but they do it on the same level. But you're not seeing those highlights
right
on ESPN. You're only seeing Kobe's highlights. You're seeing Jordan's highlights. You're seeing Shaq's. You're seeing LeBron's highlights. Like,
that's one of the things about being with the Sonics. Like, I used to watch Chris Wilkes dunk on people every night, and we didn't make the top 10. I'm like, I just watched Chris Wilkes. I put Chris Mill in the basket, and he didn't even make top 10.
Small market versus big market, huh?
Yeah,
for sure.
Nowadays, it's just with social media and the
Access,
internet, everything's big market. But like back then, the only games you'd see Lakers games, you'd see Celtics, or when it was baseball, you'd see Red Sox, Dodgers, Giants, because we're here. Yeah. Now you get to see every game whenever you want. So it's kind of good and bad, because now everybody's under that microscope, because it used to only be Jordan would be followed everywhere, like Kobe, LeBron. Now everybody, like, you can't get caught slipping outside because everybody's watching you. But then at the same time, these people were getting paid way more. They got way more endorsement deals. So, for every positive reaction, there's a negative one, right, with everything.
Yeah. But, go ahead.
I was going to say, even like we were talking about the, like, being able to not, like, they put their shoes on like everybody else. Yeah. You are on the same level as them now, too. So that's what a lot of people don't realize. Like, it takes a very talented person to get to that level, and the talent discrepancy when you get to that level isn't that much.
Yep.
It really isn't. Like it can be like Tyson on the mound or Randy Johnson on the mound. Like that. Like it's only a few mile an hour difference.
Right.
Like if you really think about it, or it's like,
true.
Or your field goal percentage is only a little bit more, like, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's
That's so true.
once their paychecks and everything might be a lot different, but the talent level isn't that much different.
You know where I've noticed this in the NBA is when they get together for like those pickup games, and a dude that you think is just like a role player, you like a Quincy, for example, he will destroy every D1, anybody.
He's legit.
At any time, but he was considered, just like a role player, like coming off the bench. But when they're playing, if they're just playing, 5-on-5 pickup game, he can take the game over just like anybody else can, because the margin for those guys at that level, it's so little. What separates the guys are who do it consistently year over year over year.
Right.
That's the hardest part.
And he's one of those
that people don't understand.
He's one of those. I mean, like, I love Quincy's game. I've always I've known Quincy since he was like 7 years old, but I'm a fan of his abilities, man. And I was always on Coach Lomar when he was coaching UW to look after him, because when I was with the Sonics, he was with Washington. But I never I never had a car. Like, I have my I lived in a hotel suite, and it was right next to the Storm. We shared our facility with the Storm, and so I would go and I see Sue Bird and all them. But when we go, I just want to be. I live in the gym. I'd be in the gym all day. Security guards knew me by name. I'd walk back and forth to the gym, and I'd always be there. So I never had a car to get anywhere. But Quincy, man, it's cool to see him do his thing when he did and had that run. He's an awesome player to me. Man. But I learned so much though, man, about from I was just going back to talking about the talent and how good you got to be. Yeah. But I take from so many other guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm watching other people, like, I could do that. Okay, I could add that to my skill set. You take from each one of them and you try to make it work for you. I remember I was with the Spurs one summer, and Tim Duncan was in the building, and he was getting ready for the Olympics in Greece. And we're playing 3-on-3, and I'm used to, under the basket, I'm power forward. I'm used to swinging down low and coming up with power. He would face up and swing high.
Over the top, yep.
So I was like, show me that again. And so I took that with me, and it helps, man, because it counters into a spin back and
add another tool. To the
it's just another tool in the toolbox. So I've learned from so many other players, the greats. I take advantage of that.
Did you learn by watching, or did you learn by somebody telling you?
I learned by watching, but I was fortunate enough to talk to people, like with Ray Allen and his jump shot. I was very fortunate, man, because Ray kind of like took me on his wing. Like, I did a lot of things with Ray.
I love Jesus Shuttlesworth, man.
And he was one of those dudes with Jordans. Like, at the end of the year, he'd open his locker, say, "Take what you want." And I'm talking green, yellow, green and white, all black and green Jordans. I'm like, but he helped me with my jump shot, and he added years to my professional career.
What did he say? What did he teach you with your jump shot? Because this is arguably the greatest shooter of all time.
Legit.
One of my favorite.
He is
I'm gonna tell you how much
shooter of all time.
Oh my god! I'm gonna tell you how much I love Ray Allen. I tried to name my son Jesus Shuttlesworth. He knows it.
Yeah, that's legit, man. But no, Ray, what he told me, because I'm like, Ray, help me out, man. What's going on with this shot, man? He said everything is one motion. So like, you have to get to the point where you get up enough shots, to me, where when you shoot it, it's the exact same, but from your feet to when it leaves your fingertips. And so it's just like one motion all the way through. I know my shot's off when I don't do that. When I keep my form and it feels good, I know it's going in from anywhere. But when I don't do that, I know it's off. So
is that kind of when they talk about that rhythm? Like when
you're
in rhythm?
It's all muscle memory. It's
just reps, just on reps, and then you get the feel for yourself, because you can't think about it when you're going fast in the game. Yeah. Just like you can't think about like which hand to press with. Somebody has a swim move on you or something. You don't think about it. You like just react.
Yeah, you react.
But you put in the reps so much, and then you develop the skill, and you had that talent, because you wouldn't have it if you you wouldn't have made it if you didn't have it. Yeah. And then you just got to develop those skills with that hour of. How many shots would you have to put up?
Man, it's
based on
it's thousands, man. Like when I was younger, I would do 100 makes from each spot, and then as I got older, it's just as long as I can because it's just how it feels. And once you see it going to net, it's not about nothing but getting hot. Once you get hot, it's over.
Yeah,
because that's how all professional athletes, that play ball, that's how that goes. Like when you make a couple, it's over. I mean, you look at Damian Lillard right now, game 1, he had 35 in the first half. Can you imagine how much he's been looking forward to that opportunity? And because he mastered his shot, he took advantage of that moment.
That's when you're talking about, like, you can't stop those guys. No matter what you do, you can't stop them.
Yeah, I've been waiting for a long time for this moment. I'm going to show y'all what I've been missing out on. What y'all been missing out on.
Dame time. Yeah. So for you as as a defensive guy, energy guy, trying to do everything you can, for the team, keeping the morale, all that stuff up.
Yeah.
If somebody goes and drops 35 on you in the first half like that, what are you doing in that moment, like while he's going off to try to do something? And then what are you doing like after that, once like halftime? What are you guys trying to do? Are you just saying, hey, he got what he got, let's like try to come back? Or did you guys mess up and that's why he had 35?
Yeah. So one, I mean, there's pride, so you got to make him feel you, and this is the playoffs, so you got to let him feel you. Like, let him feel you at some point.
Can you though nowadays? Like,
you can,
like,
but in the playoffs,
NBA,
but in the playoffs it's different. In the playoffs, it's a different animal, man. Like the NBA back then, it was more physical, but the skill set now, everybody can do so many things now.
So good.
Anybody. So for me, it's like you got to send that message, and it's and now even with technology, you can make those adjustments by halftime, and you can have your tablet and look and see. Okay, I'm gonna try to do this next time or that time, but
try
then
to
he'll
create different angles and stuff to.
But he'll pull up from further back. That's the hard part. Like, okay, I'm gonna do this when he get here, but then he'll just shoot from back there. So by the time you try to make the adjustment, when he gets 3 feet closer and he's shooting 4 feet, 5 feet back, what you thought you're gonna do, you can't do. And then he comes out and he's using the screen, so it's just that's why basketball is so hard. That's why, and also I think that's where a lot of injuries play too, because your rotations are twice as far, where people are shooting that much farther away. You know what I'm saying?
Game's different now.
Yeah. I mean, you think of inside-outside, you think of game in the 90s or early 2000s, you just clog the paint, and then it's inside-outside. Now, those rotations, you drive and kick, you got to rotate even further because he's shooting from 30, 35 feet.
Yeah, and all the guys can shoot.
Yeah. Everybody can shoot.
Yeah, you got the Joker out there pulling up for 3, going into the paint.
You can't guard that stuff.
Shaq wouldn't be out there hitting threes.
Hell no.
You know what I mean? But
no.
But that's when the game was inside outside. Like it was completely now it's just outside, and then you have dudes that can do anything at any time.
They'll run a pick and roll and then drive and dish. Drive and dish.
And you got to deal with it. You got to rotate. You got to get to that guy. If you don't rotate, he's knocking that down. If you rotate, like he's driving, hitting to the other guy to knock it down. It's when the team is rolling like that. That's why you look at the average scores in an NBA game now, how much higher they are because of those same things. Yeah. In the early 90s, 2000s, 70, 80 points in the game is a well-fought game.
Yeah.
Now they're like 120, 125.
What was the game when Jordan won? Like it was like 81, 82.
Yeah,
something like that.
80s.
80s.
Yeah, you can get 80 now in the third quarter.
Yeah, the All-Star games are getting 200.
Yeah, they play zero defense.
No, they should just bang that like they did.
I think, man, I'll say it right now. Let me say this right now, man, real quick, man. If they're gonna name the NBA All-Star Game MVP after Kobe Bryant, we got to compete better.
Ooh.
Do you remember when they went after it too? Like that was like a pride thing. Like they took it serious.
Kobe was out there. Kobe got his nose broken by
in the All-Star game.
In the All-Star game. Like you got to compete, man, for Kobe, man. You know what I'm saying? Because that's it's named after him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and somebody who was the ultimate competitor that didn't have maybe the talent that other people had, but man, that dude had just a killer instinct. I don't know if anybody else had. Yeah. Hearing all the stories, I don't know if because like more stories come out now after his passing, but
the best one was when he ran through Powell in the Olympics.
On purpose.
On purpose.
That's his
I know
teammate.
exactly what play. Like that's like his brother. That's like his best friend.
Yeah.
And he dropped him, bro. Dropped him.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's pretty sick.
Kobe was legit, man. I love Kobe. Yeah, I'm a Laker fan for life, man.
See, I'm a Kings fan, bro.
Yeah. I get it.
I can't do the Lakers.
So I went to Inglewood though when they were at the Forum.
Yeah.
But my first NBA game, I was in it, man. I never went to an NBA game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my first NBA game, we played the Portland Trailblazers.
That was your first experience. You're actually on the
first
team.
NBA game ever. Yep.
Was that in Portland?
That was in Portland. Yep.
Yeah.
That's good times.
Yeah, I only went to one pro football game until I played in one.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I went to 2 baseball games.
Yeah. I went to a lot of basketball games.
First NBA game, we were in spring training. We went and watched the Magic play the Cavs.
Oh wow!
When LeBron was on the Cavs,
yeah.
And that was.
Yeah.
I didn't really become a fan of LeBron. Like I developed so much, like respect for basketball players, and then him as well, because he was out there, just made it look
let me tell you
easy.
Man.
Like he was just so much better than everybody else.
Let me tell you something about that dude, man. I went in training camp with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I played the first NBA game against the Orlando Magic with the young Dwight Howard. We played in Macau, China, in the Venetian Hotel. So the arena was in the hotel. That's how big the Venetian was in Macau, China. But man, LeBron was one of the coolest cats I've ever hung with that had that level of success. And like I would say it like playing a pickup game at level 10 in the practice. I'm talking Shannon Brown, Darius Rice, Jerry Rice's nephew, went to Miami. He was on our team. Hassan Adams went to Westchester High in L.A. A lot of guys, man, we playing pickup ball with this dude. And Big Z was out there. He was playing at level 5, and we were all playing at level 10, and he was still dominant. I was like, what? And he jumped the highest, ran the fastest, had the highest IQ, and was still bigging everybody else up.
And he's been doing it for 22 years now.
Man, that's the like when people ask me. Because I get, what kind of guy is he? He's the coolest cat, one of the coolest cats I've ever, and one of the best leaders I've ever met. But he just was like, he just loves doing it, man. And on that staff, Mike Brown was our coach, but Coach Mo Malone, the coach for Denver, he was also on that staff, man. And one of the coolest cats also. He used to tell me, like, hey, man, you make a lot of money in this league, man. He used to encourage me, and I was like, man, that's so cool to hear from your coach.
Yeah.
But
give you a little
I just feel fortunate to cross paths.
Give you a little Tark action on it.
Yeah, man. So many good coaches like Monty Williams. Like the Spurs had Mike Budenholzer, Monty Williams, Mike Brown, Brett Brown, all on the same staff. And all those coaches coached in the NBA high-level basketball.
It's kind of like the Washington.
It's crazy. Yeah. Budenholzer won a championship with Milwaukee.
That's like
Brett Brown was with
they were the Redskins back in the day, but like everybody under Shanahan now, they're some of the best head coaches in the league because it's just once you get all those people around and they start thinking in like the same way, then they take that same mindset and then they share it around everybody else.
It's pretty awesome, man, and like it just made me pop it to my mind too. Like one of the coaches I have a lot of respect for that I got a chance to be taught to learn the game from is John Welch. Because John Welch is back at Fresno State, but I used to get a kick out of, my early chances playing with NBA guys, and John Welch they'd be like, hey man, John will bust you, man. Don't sleep on John Welch, because you think he can't play, and he'll play NBA guys and beat them. Like my first time playing John Welch, I was like, oh, I'm in for it. He scored so many shots in my face, and I'm like, what? So I've learned a lot from Coach Welch too, man. He's a great coach also.
That's funny.
Yeah.
You're saying that all I've heard you say, a couple of times that multiple coaches have told you that, you're going to make a lot of money in this league. I should play you more. Getting you that confidence. What do you think it was about you that kind of made these coaches say that about you?
Well, I was always about my team, man. True story. When I was at Fresno State, I got an opportunity to go to North Carolina, and the coach at the time was recruiting me to Notre Dame when I was in high school to go play basketball. I think his name there's Matt Doherty and there's Brad Doherty. Matt Doherty was the coach, and I heard that he moved from Notre Dame and he ended up going to North Carolina, and I was hearing rumblings that he was interested in me trying to go play for him. And I was like, man, I don't want to leave Fresno State, but just the rumors of hearing that he was interested in me was pretty interesting to me, man, because North Carolina is North Carolina.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm more loyal, and I didn't want to make any kind of moves like that. I think that would have been a drastic move. But and then that year they weren't even as good. They weren't great. But then they ended up getting Rashad McCants and David Noel, and all that ended up winning a championship. Like later on, in my tenure in college. It was crazy, man.
So you could have a ring right now.
Perhaps. Hindsight 2020.
What's something that you've learned playing basketball that has helped you in the real world as a father, as a man, that you wouldn't have learned if you didn't play or if you didn't play basketball?
Well, first, I'm a man of faith, 100%, man. But I would tell you, basketball has taught me how to persevere, how to deal with success, failure. It taught me patience. It taught me endurance. It taught me how to be a man, because basketball, it's a man's league anywhere you go. You know what I mean? I remember I got into an argument with a teammate in Italy, and this is my second opportunity to play, and he was had a family in Atlanta. He's probably in his 30s. I'm like 25, and I'm like, man, I play this game because I love the game. Like, I'll play for free, and he lost it. He was like, what? Play for free? Man, yeah, I gotta feed my family, and I'm like, okay. I mean, that's how I feel about it. And so for me, basketball has always been that. That's why I still play. Like, I got Achilles issue, but I don't play as much because I played 3 times a week at one point, like last year, and I'm 42. So I still play because I just love basketball. And it has been such an outlet for me. But the things that it has taught me, man, was just like how to be patient. Like, patience is a virtue for me, like legit. Like, when you know you ain't going to succeed in something, or you have a toxic locker room, all those things we deal with, and they got to go home to your family. Or the beginning of my relationship with my wife, it was long distance because of basketball. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, I've learned so many aspects of this game, and it's rewarded me jerseys and seeing the world. And that's what I loved about playing overseas. And, basketball and the NBA is such an incredible opportunity. It's only like 450 guys at the most, 440 guys get that opportunity. But, man, to just say you play basketball, like, I was the first player that played in the NBA and played in Taiwan. And I beat out Marcus Fizer by, like, a day, 24 hours. So, like, that was a big deal. And, like, he came and he got hurt and he left. But those experiences, man, they're priceless to me. So, like, to be able to say I was able to do those things, I kind of just brought the mindset of being respectful to every single culture I got a chance to experience, whether it's China, whether it's the Philippines, whether it's Japan, Taiwan, Israel, like Lebanon. I've been all over the world to play the game of basketball and got paid to do it. Yeah. I became hooked on that, man. And then I always share what I got a chance to see, but that's because of the round basketball. It's because of ball. So I don't take that stuff for granted, man. And I think that that's something that I try to share with cats that aspire to play. It's like, you never know where this game can take you. Like, we talk about Chrissy Pondexter. There's a cat that I know, Terrell Ade, who's a local cat, man, that
he was supposed to come on today too.
Yeah, that dude, man, Terrell Ade, he's an NBA guy, man. He always used to tell me, because he was in Russia killing it. He's like, man, they know where to find me. And he's right. They know where to find you because the NBA is global. And it's because of my experiences going overseas. Like, the time when I played with, like the Shanghai Sharks. When I played with the Shanghai Sharks, my first experience as a pro, they had just won the championship with Yao Ming. And his first year with the Rockets was my first year with the team he just won the championship with in Shanghai. So I'm like, you can't make that up. That's crazy to me. You know what I mean? Then I get a chance to play against him with the Rockets. I'm like, man, like, Yao Ming, I played in Shanghai, man. Like, I know where you from, bro. I play with your teammates who were national team players with the Shanghai Sharks. So,
and you can make a good living overseas too.
Oh yeah, I think China starts at $50 a month now.
Yeah,
and at one point when Tracy McGrady went out there, he was getting like $600,000 a month. Yeah, big money.
It is money.
Yeah,
there's money all over the place. Different countries have different money and stuff.
Yeah, all over, man.
Did you feel at one moment in your career where you were kind of putting too much pressure on yourself, or maybe you were feeling pressures from other people? Was it more pressure from others, more pressure on yourself? And then how did you deal with the pressure?
Well, when I was younger, for sure, man, I always had pressure. But just wanting to do well. And basketball, naturally, it's a lot of pressure because you're always being evaluated. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude ain't cutting it. There's so many other guys. Like, I remember we were in the gym with the Sonics, and Ron Mercer was in the gym. Went to Kentucky, Oak Hill Academy. Like, it's Ron Mercer. He's a ball. He went to Kentucky, I think. Ron Mercer's a monster. But he just worked out. We didn't sign him or anything. I'm like, that's Ron Mercer. We didn't sign Ron Mercer. That's crazy. But to me, man, I just think basketball has done, it just does so much for you when you give. Like, it was the first relationship I've ever had. You know what I'm saying? My first relationship was that ball. And I feel like I love the game. The game loved me back. Now, I don't need to make $100 million to say that because my wealth is my family. You know what I'm saying? I get a chance to raise my children. I love my life. I have my company that, you know, will give me the money that I didn't make in basketball. But for me, man, that game has given me so much, and it's given me so many awesome relationships. And I think that that's what matters most. You know what I'm saying? Because I get to connect with so many people, and I can say I played in certain places. Like, I could talk to a lady from the Philippines. I'm like, I played for Talking Text in the Philippines. She's like, what? What? Yeah, I played for Talking Text. You know what I'm saying? That's just a phone company. But how else would you know that unless you went to the Philippines to play? And we played in this arena where Muhammad Ali played had the Thriller Manila fight.
Oh, the Thriller Manila.
Wild. Yeah, it's crazy stuff I could share. You know, playing basketball with Manny Pacquiao. You know, later on in my career, running Griffith Park with Manny Pacquiao.
You played basketball with Manny Pacquiao?
Yes, I did, yeah.
How's Manny Pacquiao's basketball game?
Man, Manny Pacquiao could play 50 pickup games back to back to back and not break a sweat, man.
The
like
Pac-Man.
His cardio is insane, bro.
I walk up the court. I'm like,
he's a big basketball guy, then.
Yeah, he can play.
Loves it.
He can play. Yeah, so much respect for that dude, man. And just to say I meet all these awesome people, man, it's just priceless stuff, man.
Hearing your story and where you came from and where you are based on like the skills that you've learned not only as a basketball player but as a human, and Kenny and I talk about this all the time with people that we have on, and like what success is and what success means to you, and that success it's not where you are, it's how far you've come. And you know, somebody like you is one of the most successful people in the hour that we've been talking. One of the most successful people that I've got to hear their story because of where you were talking about playing in the streets. And then how far you've come from that to playing in the NBA, traveling the world, all the experiences that you have. And then somebody like you can help way more people in the world than somebody who was drafted first overall, have all this money. Because those people are kind of almost like untouchable. They can't really go out and help the people. Versus somebody like you, you can go into the inner cities. You can go even into the prisons and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like be able to help those people. Do you feel like you have kind of like, a responsibility to kind of do so nowadays? Not like that's your job to get out there and do all this, but like when people do come to you, do you feel like it's easier for you to help give advice because of everything that you've went through?
Yes, I do. I think that everything that I get is to give to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't coach, but I love to teach the game. You know what I'm saying? Because like if I teach you the game and you learn your skill sets, you can take that wherever and thrive. And where I had my bumps in the road where I was questioning my abilities when I was young, I want to help kids at that part so then they don't put the pressure on themselves, because it's going to be pressure. And we talked about it a little bit earlier.
That's the hardest pressure, is the pressure that you put on yourself.
There's going to be pressure. There's a guy, Garrett Anderson. Garrett Anderson, his little brother's a friend of mine. And we talk about Garrett all the time. He's like, man, when he retired, he was like, man, that pressure that he used to deal with, man, you know how relieved he is. And it's like, yeah, I get it, man, playing baseball with the Angels. And like, he was a stud, you know what I mean? Had a beautiful home, and it was Shady Canyon, and sold it. But just what his successes as a baseball player, one of the things his brother said was how much pressure he dealt with year in and year out for those batting averages and all those things, man.
Yeah.
And so as a basketball player, you definitely have those pressures too. But I always say take advantage of the opportunities. But that's also plugging that into how you are in society. Like, I have an opportunity to share my story. I try to be an open book to people because they have their questions, man. And I'm not average. I'm 6'9". So when I walk through the local Walmart, I get, do you play ball every day? But the fact of the matter is I did, and I love sharing my story because that's what it's about. It's about giving that back. Because I imagine if I look at somebody and I want to ask them a question and I don't because I'm nervous about it, or if I ask them and they give me the cold shoulder, that could be traumatizing in a way to somebody.
Yeah.
But if you're open and you're sharing and you keep your joy and you let them know you're a welcoming human being, man, you can inspire that person, man. And I think that's what matters, because that's how we make our society a better place. When you are when you're encouraging to somebody else, when you are pouring into them in areas where you know that shouldn't be something that's a hurdle for you. Like, you're in your head about something that's not a big deal. Like, you're gonna be an adult when you're a kid. Little things like that I do when I talk to the younger generation, because I do a lot of public speaking through my company, talking to kids about how they can treat each other better. But that's what I learned in the locker room. You know what I'm saying? So I've taken every single thing, like I squeeze every single piece of juice out that lemon, man, and I use it to this very day, all the way down to talking about a person they know by name, LeBron James. Okay, I play with LeBron James. I said a locker with him. He's one of the coolest dudes I've ever met, bro. And they're like, yeah, what kind of guy is he? I don't think he's this. I don't like that. Well, he's LeBron James. And LeBron James is arguably one of the greatest basketball players ever, and I'll prove it. Every time he scored in a regular season, he's added to a record that probably won't be touched.
Yeah.
Because if you look at LeBron's record, all the cats that are up there in points at this point, they didn't have as much points as LeBron at 25 either.
And they're all
not
done.
Steph Curry, not Kevin Durant, none of them.
Yeah.
So to me, man, we have to respect the greats while we have them, because that's something about Kobe that I think that society didn't do. Like, we didn't think Kobe would leave us, leave this world the way he did, man. That was tragic and that was hard. It sucked for me. I was devastated, man. But the critique and the overanalyzing of how great he was unnecessary to me, because he gave the game
Everything. He gave it everything.
Thank you.
Everything.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm a Kobe hater.
And he does it, yeah.
I don't like
gotta give
Kobe,
everything.
but I respect the shit out of Kobe.
I think that
he was.
Yeah, I think that it
Right.
changed too a
Yeah.
little bit after his career,
No doubt.
Yeah, man.
because he was a little bit more open to
Yeah.
talk about why he was the way that he was, why he was like the ball hog, and it was actually
Yeah.
Phil who was making him be the ball hog and telling he would get on everybody else, but he wouldn't get on Kobe.
Yeah.
And there's reasons why everything happens, and us as fans, you are a fan also, but you're actually in there, so you understand it. But Kenny and I watching the game, we don't know. So when greatness is done, I think that it makes them even greater, because now you get to hear the stories of what created that greatness.
And that goes back to going back out there and how do you speak to other people. Look at
what do you do with it afterwards,
Look at
right?
what Kobe was getting ready to do, man. He was doing details on ESPN, breaking down the game now, the way LeBron is doing with J.J. Redick. Shout out to J.J. Redick. I love J.J. Redick, man. I was with him in rookie transitions. But a lot of that stuff that Kobe was getting ready to do, man, I think every single professional athlete should do that, because it will inspire so many kids, so many young teenagers that's aspiring to be in the shoes that we're able to be in. You know what I'm saying?
I think
just pouring into them and encouraging them and sharing your stories face to face, man, that got impact, man.
I agree. I agree 100%. I think that the impact that he made and the impact that he was making really changed a lot of people's mindsets, or the thought, or how they looked at him and how they thought of him as a player afterwards. I think that he flipped a lot of people's favor into his court.
Yeah, it's so many of them like that, man. And so for me, part of that is like the guys above me. The guys above me was like that. You know what I mean? Just giving back to their community. How do you pour into, like, playing ball with some of these guys at the gym? They talk crazy to me. Every now and then I go back and forth. I love it, though, because I was bred in that. That's where it started for me. So it's almost like a full circle, just to banter with cats that's just talking crazy.
Does it bring something out back? Does it bring something out in you when people do get to talking a little bit? Yeah, Kenny's over here shaking his head. Like,
if we need some buckets, then I'm probably gonna go 10 straight or 15 straight. It depends where we are, you know. But our team is so fun to play with, and
You just
we move
enjoy
the ball well.
playing.
Yeah, we move the ball
Yeah.
well. Everybody get their shots up. We have fun. We get together. We do it. We get it. We get it in together, man. But you know, they bring in other guys, and I hope that they, you know, I like the competition too. Like I want them to bring everybody, come play us. I don't think they're gonna beat us. I really don't.
No, I mean,
No, ain't nobody gonna
you
beat
guys
us.
got to get like a legit.
Nah, ain't nobody gonna beat us. 'Cause if you get Gabe going, you get me going, you get him going, and then you get Rob going. Nah, and then Anthony's a fire. He fired too.
And we got
Matter of fact,
we got Crawley now too.
yeah, we got Crawley. Crawley stay on fire. Like man, he ready to go. And then, you know, like shout out to Anthony, man. I did a podcast with him too, man. I love Anthony.
Yeah.
He's a good dude, man.
I did
love
his
our team.
podcast too. He's
Yeah.
cool.
Shout outs to him, man.
Yeah, he's a man. He's good people.
Good people.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing, when we wrap this up here soon, but the
Mhm.
one thing that I can take from our conversation is the amount of gratitude you have toward your journey, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you could have been a type of guy who's like, man, I only got X amount of days
Yeah.
in the NBA.
Yeah.
Woe was me. I should have been in there more, but no,
Yeah.
you're thankful for every opportunity that you
Yep.
got
Yeah.
and every team that you played for and
Mhm.
every experience that you
Yeah.
got.
Yeah.
And now you're trying to share it with everybody else.
That's it.
And that's
That's
great,
life, man.
That's
That's
How
life.
important is that to
Yeah.
you?
Well, I look at it like this, man. You live your life, you know, you try to bring as many people to Christ, and you die and you're forgotten.
Mm.
That's how I live my life. And so, like, to me, I can tell you that. Preachers tell you that, but I try to live that, man. I try to be a light. I try to be encouraging to people, and I try to be open book. You know what I'm saying? Because people got questions, but I'm open and I want to share my story. And you know, if your kid want to work out, I'm at Valley Athletics. Bring them in there. We'll help train them, get them right. Me and Gabe. You know, we got something going, and that's what it is. It's about giving as much back as I can. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, life is short, but I have had an incredible career because I got a chance to play something I love way further than 22nd Street in South Central LA. You know what I'm saying? That's where it started for me in the mid 90s, man. And there was a guy that just came to my mind named Brandon Roy, who was in our rookie transition.
I remember Brandon.
And
Roy.
his career was cut short due to injuries. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I never broke a bone or never had surgery in my entire career. Like, that's saying something, man. Like, I don't take that for granted. And then you look at a guy, you take me, Noel Felix, never had surgery a day in my life. But then you have a veteran Hall of Famer named Grant Hill. See his career? You know what I'm saying? And, like, he's had a great career. He's made more money than me. But Grant Hill ankle, man, what he went through with his ankle and those injuries. And, like, I didn't have to experience that. So I'm thankful for my opportunities, man. And Grant Hill maximizing is thankful for his as well. But we have two different paths, two different stories. He's had multiple surgeries. I never had a surgery. You know what I'm saying? And that, to me, that's an absolute blessing, man. You know what I mean? So that's how I look at it. And I played in countries where if I needed surgery,
You wouldn't have had it anyways.
get me on a plane now back to the States.
Listen, man.
Send me back.
I played at Alexandria, Egypt, man. I played at Alexandria, Egypt. Say I wanted to go to Egypt. I'm not having surgery in Egypt, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I wasn't gonna have surgery
That's
in
not
Mexico.
having surgery. Not having surgery in these places. So, like, I count my blessings, man. I was able to go out there, make my money, ball, and, you know, I don't take not a thing for granted, bro.
All right, let's get him answering some quick questions.
Right,
Not
sure.
We're not doing it right now, but what?
Oh.
So we talked about. Gabe told us the most interesting food that he ate while he was traveling around. What's the craziest thing you ate, and what country was it in?
That's easy. Frogs.
How was it?
It was cool. I was in Italy in these tents, man. You know those wedding tents, the big white ones? So they had this event, like a traditional event in Italy. And I'm eating these frogs, and the problem was, I tried frogs, straight up. That was the easy one. Trying these frogs, and the problem was the bone, that's not a chicken leg. And I couldn't get over it, so I had to stop.
It's because you're seeing I'm
you're
chewing
chewing
the
like,
frog
this
bone.
is a frog. This is not chicken. I can't. Nah, stew, fried. I'm like, I just can't. So I
you just
tried
couldn't
it.
eat.
I tried it, but I couldn't, man.
What did Gabe say that he ate? He said that he ate McDonald's like every single day because he refused to eat anything else wherever he was playing.
Yep.
Yeah, I get it, Gabe.
What
Shout
was
out to
the
Gabe.
what was the sketchiest city that you ever played in? where you were like legit kind of like scared?
Venezuela, Caracas, bro.
Caracas.
Venezuela.
Hey.
Because Venezuela, let me tell you, man.
Yeah.
You could be walking down the street. Just keep your eye on. I mean, I already keep my eye on the swivel, but once that dude that crossed the street and turned around and changed his direction, yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah.
We had some guys like they got robbed at gunpoint for their chains, and like when they play winter ball down there,
Venezuela, bro.
They travel on like
Venezuela
military planes where you're like remember Marcus was talking about you are facing each other in like a military plane, and like the back like flap is down and you're flying, and then it closes when you get up.
Yeah, Venezuela. But there was a couple, man. Israel, Jerusalem. There was a guy that, he boom at the local bus stop near my flat.
Himself?
Yeah, he
blew himself up.
He blew himself up, man. Yeah, that happened. I heard some stories in Lebanon as well, but I missed that boat. But Lebanon, my buddy said one time he had to get out and just walk for miles in like the middle of nowhere. He was like, you got to get out and walk. But I'll tell y'all something crazy, man. Crazy story real quick. So I was in Alexandria, Egypt at the country clubs in Alexandria, because around us is the city, right by the coast. We had a basketball game in Syria, and they canceled it. We had a tournament in Syria, canceled it again. So I ended up getting paid to play, but I was only practicing for like a month, almost 2 months. We ended up taking a tournament in Tunisia, Africa. And I ended up going out there playing, hit a game, winning good times, man. I come home. About 6 months later, I find out why we never went to Tunisia. To Syria, because ISIS was shooting cars off the highway and executing everybody. So I dodged it by like 6 months, bro.
Dang.
Jeez.
Yeah, and I'm a Christian, by the way, and the only American on the team. Yep. Our coach was like, "No, we're not going to Syria. We canceling that tournament. We're not going." And then he used to tell me, I'm in Egypt, like, okay, I'm going to the pyramids. I'm trying to see everything. He was like, don't leave after 6 o'clock. I was like, what? Civil War. Something's going on. So then at night, they'll put boulders. Boulder here. You have to drive in a zigzag. One of my teammates told me, he was like, man, I had to leave. They even owe me money and I left. I'm like, what happened? Car going too fast towards that turnabout or whatever. So they just shot the car up. Ended up being a taxi. They killed the passenger and the driver and just wheeled the car off to the side and then let the other cars through. Yeah.
Sounds like Mexico.
See some crazy stuff overseas, man. Crazy stories, crazy stuff. So
Yeah, I'll stick in the States.
another reason why I'm thankful. Another reason why I'm thankful, man.
I got some crazy stuff about Mexico. You want to hear it?
No.
Mexico. So like in Tijuana, I played in Tijuana, and it's the best place to play. Like it was amazing, 20,000 every night, and the league over there is legit. But you're playing in Mexico, and Tijuana is the number one dangerous city in the world.
I've been there.
Right,
Yeah.
and it's a civil war every single day because they're fighting over the border.
Yeah.
Like there's a place called New City where all the guys would they would stay, like super nice right by the border. It was gated, all this stuff. They found somebody's head in a bag with a note that said "Hello, New City." There was people's hands, like cut their hands off, throwing over the fence, and they just like found them. Somebody walked in like to the gym, just like a normal gym. Everybody's working out there. You know, like a lot of Americans would stay. Just went to this dude 3 times right in the chest and left like a hit. Same thing at the Grand Hotel, one of the nicest hotels there. There was a hit. Like we were actually staying there. And we walked out, and like the streets just like stopped. There's like news reporters everywhere, and we asked one of the reporters like, "What's going on? Like, is like Jefe in town? Like El President, whatever." And they were like, the dude just like nonchalantly goes, "No, somebody got shot in the elevator." So it's all like the news reporters. So they went up to the top, and you can't get through without your card. And there's like a person standing there, so they had to pay that guy off. Went up, it was a hit. It was like the nephew of one of the cartel guys.
Oh man!
Took him in an elevator, went down to the parking lot, shot him, left him.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Went out.
Yeah, overseas is different animal, man.
We are very lucky to live where we are.
For sure.
1,000%, bro. 1,000%. I'm thankful, man. 100%, man.
All right, let's get it. Are you ready?
All
right, so
let's go.
We always end these. I don't know if Gabe told you. Did he tell you? Did he let you cheat?
Nah.
Okay.
Man, nah.
Okay. We can go back to the originals, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna ask you 10 questions.
Okay.
Very easy.
Okay.
You answer them.
We'll see if they easy.
You answer them as quick as you can with your best answer.
Okay.
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 But the thing is, Kenny's gonna judge you
Okay.
based on
Let's do
what
it.
he thinks the answer should have been.
Okay.
How fast you answered it.
Okay.
All that sort of thing.
Let's
So
go.
we have. Everybody's done this, and everybody gets a 0 through 10. What's the highest score? 8.6. Marcus Walden.
8.5.
Sweet.
Dr. B's up there. He's a very,
Sweet.
very hard grader. He gave Izzy, what did he give Mike Oz last week? He gave him
7.2.
7.2. I thought it was way better, but he's
Okay.
a tough. He's
Okay,
a
let's
tough
see,
grader.
Let's see.
Gabe was 8.4.
Not bad, Gabe.
Gabe was
Not
good, and his. We'll talk after this, but
Okay.
his best answer shocked me. But these are just all over the map, very easy. It
Okay.
can be one word, it can be 2 words.
Okay.
Very easy stuff.
Let's do
Izzy, got the countdown ready? Give me a countdown.
1, 2, 3.
Other than basketball, what is your favorite sport?
I'm gonna say volleyball.
If you can eat one thing all day, every day, what would it be?
One thing all day, every day. Ooh. Eat? I don't know, man. Let's go pizza.
Most famous contact in your phone.
Ray Allen.
If you were a potato, how would you like to be cooked?
Baked.
3 things you're bringing with you on a deserted island.
Ooh. Water. International cell phone. National cell phone. Like international cell phone, water, a tent.
Team you hate the most in all of sports.
Oh man, team I hate the most. I don't know, man. I can't hit a team. Dang. Guys, I'm not gonna say the Boston Celtics because I love the Boston Celtics. Now, in the '80s, the Boston Celtics. There you go.
Favorite non-sports movie.
Favorite non-sports movie. Inception.
Dinner with any sports star, dead or alive. Who's it with?
Any sports star.
Kobe.
I'm gonna go Michael Jordan.
If you were a stripper, what would your stripper name be?
I think it's the street. So like sauce. Oof. Candy. Chocolate. You killing me, man.
Taylor Swift.
Dark chocolate or something.
Taylor Swift or Michael Jackson?
Michael Jackson.
How do you do on time, Izzy?
Whoa.
6 minutes and 30 seconds.
6 minutes and 30 seconds.
That was rough, man.
It's for
That was
sure
rough.
our longest one, 1 minute and 45.
Yeah, that was
Whoa.
rough. That was rough.
We didn't really
That
emphasize
favorite
the
team
time
one, though.
as
That
much,
favorite
though, to
team one,
him. Oh, no.
80 Celtics. I didn't like the 80 Celtics.
No.
Yeah, that was rough.
That
man.
was
I
rough.
was
All
not
right,
ready
Wiggins.
for that.
All right,
Oh,
Wiggins, break it down.
We needed to get a freaking calendar out for that one,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, that was rough. Because that favorite team one really got me.
All right.
That
Well,
most hated team. Oh man, I
well, you
can't.
you can't be worse than Greg Pinelli. So
Okay.
we'll give you better than him at least.
Okay. I'll take that. I'll
Man.
take
Steak
That
on
was
an island?
that was
take that.
rough,
that.
dude.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Man.
No, I was saying like a cell phone, like to contact somebody, like
Yeah.
satellite.
Satellite
That's what I
phone.
need.
International.
Come get me.
International phone.
Yeah.
Come get me.
I'm gonna go. Man, that was rough. 5-1.
5-1. Okay.
I think that's very generous.
I just can't give him over Greg.
What was Greg?
4-8.
That's tough. You can drop Greg to like 1-4.
Yeah, I'm
You
gonna
know,
drop-
we can
I'm gonna-
edit it.
I'm
This
gonna-
isn't allowed, but we can edit. We can edit
I'm gonna
Pinelli's.
drop Greg to 3-2.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. All right.
All right.
Yeah,
Noel,
I was
we-
not ready for that.
See, got to keep you on
we,
your toes, bro.
Yeah, that's a good
We
one.
appreciate you coming in.
Man, that's a
Great
blessing,
episode.
Man. Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, you did you did the podcast right. You did a podcast right. Stay tuned for more. Make sure you
for sure.
follow us, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Rodeo's in town.
Yeah.
Winners getting picked right now after this. I just came from the rodeo, and it's the Wild West out there. Let me tell you something about this rodeo. They got the biggest calves that they can have.
Yeah.
Like Izzy running
for the
out
calf ropings. They got the biggest steers they can have. These are the best rodeo guys in the world, just getting thrown around out there, Clovis Rodeo. So this probably won't come out until after the Clovis
See
Rodeo.
me
But
on
if
the
you were
board
there at
yet.
the Clovis Rodeo, you've seen some stuff.
Get you a tri-tip sandwich, man.
Get you a tri-tip
Chardon,
sandwich.
Chardon. Corey Fisher, man.
There you go. And stay away from the frog legs. All right.
Don't do that. Yeah.
Until next time, we out.
3, 2, 1.